Hi friends, SB Roz here, the coach and often quite messy whole human who writes SB's Chipped Plaster and Death and Stuff on Substack. Earlier this week on Chipped Plaster, I was writing about essentially mindfulness, right? Being present on purpose, which is something that's very easy to talk about and very difficult to do. By the way, it's getting chilly here in North Carolina. It's time for me to weatherize my little um, attic office. But how great that I have these sweet little gloves from my mother. So I was talking to somebody about that today, and we came up with this little drawing that I wanted to share with you that I thought was really helpful. You get to see my amazing art skills as well. You're welcome. And so being human and practicing mindfulness is a little bit like this. Okay, here we are, and we're human, and so we have expectations, we have thoughts, we have feelings, and many of these just are. Right? We're just going to have expectations. We're just going to have thoughts. We're just going to have feelings, right? That's just a normal part of humaning, right? And so with mindfulness, our goal isn't to cease to have any of these, right? Our goal in a lot of ways is to develop this and reinforce the second little self, right? Who hangs out and is like, there are expectations, thoughts, and feelings here. I see them. How about that? Okay. And in that way, we practice what is sometimes called, especially in Buddhism, unattachment. Now, let's get clear. There's an important nuance to this language because detachment suggests I shouldn't be affected by these. Even if I have them, I shouldn't be affected by them. I shouldn't have feelings around my expectations. Shouldn't have thoughts about my feelings. I should be able to just like take out this part of my whole humanness. We do not work like that as whole humans, at least in my experience. But what we can do is go, oh, there are expectations, thoughts, and feelings here. Okay, right? Which means unattaching, right? We get to look at them from a little bit of a distance and go, how do I want to be with these expectation, thoughts, and feelings? Right? Maybe I want to be gentle around these feelings. Maybe I want to challenge these thoughts, right? Maybe I want to notice that these expectations are only one possible scenario of infinite scenarios and how this might play out or how the next day might go. Okay. One of the things that makes this really hard, though, is yet again, we are human, right? As humans, we experience vulnerability factors. And I've mentioned this before. I've mentioned all this before, but it bears repeating because all of this is really easy to talk about and really hard to practice. Vulnerability factors, vulnerability. Yeah, writing and talking at the same time, not my best skill. But I nailed it, I think. Tell me if I didn't or don't. Who cares? You know what I'm trying to say. Vulnerability factors include everything that makes it harder to be this observer watching our inner workings. Okay. Being tired, being hungry, being stressed out. Okay. PMSing if you're a person who PMSs, right? Um, Being thirsty, having pre-existing anger, right? Being stuck in a situation you don't want to be stuck in. There's so many things that are going to make it more difficult to be an observer, watching ourselves and watching life. So if we can practice noticing our vulnerability factors, I was tired, like I didn't get very good sleep last night, I'm PMSing. Let me be extra gentle. Let me go extra slow. Let me add extra discernment to what I'm thinking, feeling, and expecting today. Maybe I buy myself some time, right? Maybe I'm setting an intention that I'm not going to have difficult conversations today or something like that as a way to buy ourselves space so we can come back here. And my friends, always, 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 there's room for self-compassion because we're not going to do any of this perfectly. Our vulnerability factors are going to hijack us sometimes. Our thoughts, feelings, and expectations are going to hijack us sometimes. We're going to sometimes behave in ways we don't mean to. Sucks, but it's human. So please, please be gentle with yourself and remember that all of this not only applies to you, it applies to the people who are pissing you off or hurting your feelings too. Yeah. All right. Good luck. Practice hard, especially the self compassion. Sending you big love.